Alright, let's get this underway. I believe this is the first VOD review I've done for you. Let's see how this goes. So the first thing that really stands out to me, besides the fact that you're like, is that your sensitivity just looks really high. I don't know what like your sensitivity is, or even if you know what it is, like combined with your like DPI. So every mouse has like a certain DPI you can set it to. Either like preset or you can change it if you want. I'm not sure how like informed you are on like peripherals, but basically the DPI is like the native sensitivity of the mouse, and then the sensitivity slider is the in-game sensitivity. So what you do is you multiply these two numbers. Say like I think normal mouse DPI is either 800 or 1600 these days. So if you have an it's moving. What the heck? Okay. So if you have 800 sensitivity or 800 DPI and your sensitivity is 10 in game, then you have 8000 eDPI or effective DPI. So yours looks really, really high. I don't know exactly what your number is, but for reference, mine is 4000 eDPI. I run 1600 DPI and 2.5. Obviously, you need a fairly large mouse pad for that, and you might be more comfortable with something higher than that. In fact, you probably are, but well, your current sensitivity just looks way too high. You don't look in control at all. As in, like, you start aiming, and you're aimed all over the place. Like you're yeah. So like, your aim just kind of all over the place. It's really hard for you to like actually like look at people, like and track them. I don't know how comfortable you are in like characters like Soldier or like Tracer, but this looks kind of rough. Second most important thing to understand, like as like the character on Reaper, is the Reaper wants to like take close range fights, and he wants to like walk at them. He wants to walk into people before they can see him, right? So yes, you can play really aggressive and just kind of run at people, but ideally what you can do is like sit here, and as like this is going on, you either shoot this Ryan on the side as he walks in, or if he respects you and backs up. Or if they don't respect you and walk in, you just kind of walk in and shoot them, right? And if you do ever get a situation where you're forced over here, right, you're playing left side, you can just teleport up to the high ground and then drop down on them, right? And it's effectively the same thing. But you want to play either like teleport, like either above them and dropping, or like even like teleporting over here. If you're feeling really ballsy, you just do that in their face. Like the advantage of doing this teleport is you can do it from like relative safety, where a lot of people can't see you. So they can't see the start of the teleport and shoot you during it, and they can't see you while you're teleporting, so they don't know she'll look above them for a teleport, right? Same with over here, is you can just do the same thing, just teleport up here, right? But yeah, you generally want to shoot them, like you want to get really close, and from a place that's not directly in front of them, or else they'll just shoot back at you, right? Oh, that's the wrong person. So you look like your team got 2 kills, and you have 7% ult, which is the least on your team by like a pretty significant margin. Your Ash also didn't do anything, but like Reaper ult isn't terribly hard to build. You just need to like find opportunities to go in and really shoot people, right? Not ready. This Wraith is pretty bad. Wraith is your escape tool. It's not like a mobility tool. You can use it to get out of spawn sometimes, but generally speaking, it's an emergency button, not like a mobility button. And I'd like to point out, I like to emphasize that mobility buttons, this kind of like the escape button on this character is really important for your ability to go in. Because if you don't have the escape button, there's a limit to how aggressive you can be, right? But if you have the escape button, you can literally just walk into them, and you just fear nothing because you can always like Wraith out, right? The same. Just don't force it. The less they see of you until you're on them, the better, generally. Behind you! My ultimate is almost charged. So, do you see, by the way, how, like, when chasing the Doom, like, the chase on the Doom is good, by the way. So you come out here, you shoot the Doom, and then your immediate instinct is to run away from the choke, right? So if you just look at your pathing for a second, So just go third person. So this is good. So you chase this guy. But then, like, watch your pathing after this, right? You don't start walking forward until here, right? You went all the way from this point to this point before you actually, like, started walking forward again. Imagine if, like, after you killed the Reaper, or the Doom, you walked back up and just started shooting them, right? Like, you could be, like, right here right now shooting this guy as he's getting stunned, right? Or at least force him away, right? There's a lot of things you can do, right? But the important thing is making sure that, like, you're not moving back unless you absolutely have to on Reaper. Just hold your ground. This is fine as a chase, but, like, just keep in mind that you can actually get a lot closer than this. I think part of the problem is, like, you're afraid to get close because you're not sure if you're gonna die, and you're also afraid about, like, getting too close because I feel like you might just, like, you feel like, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but, like, I feel like you think that when you get too close, you have trouble aiming. So this comes down to some degree to, like, mouse control. Your sensitivity just looks way too high. Or your frame rate is low. Could be both.
I'm on fire.
Sorry, I forgot what I was going to talk about here. You can get a lot closer in this range. Frick, not far enough back. So when you wraith here to get closer, this is fine. But you can actually just get all the way, like, you should be like this close before you stop wraithing, right? And you potentially even want to go further because you want to get on this guy too, right? So if you look at how close you get before wraithing, you stop your wraith here, right? This is like, you could easily be like here. Oh my god, the particle effects. You could easily be like right here. And then you pop out, you one-shot this guy, and then you move on to this guy, right? But if you like, you're easily like, I mean, it's all relative, but you're like a solid, I don't know how the game is, measurements work, but let's just say like you're like a couple meters like distance, as opposed to just being right on top of her shooting, right? Don't be afraid to like just go at me. Like, oh, okay, yeah. So like just micro-wise, just like look at how you back up here, by the way. So we kill this guy, and Ana, who has no nade, by the way, and has 2 other people on her, so like if she sleeps you, not a big deal, right? You're gonna actually back away from him because she's walking at you, and you're like, you either feel like you're gonna miss or you're like concerned. Like, you see like that step back? You actually took a step back to make sure you could hit that shot, and you just kind of never want to do that on Reaper. Just keep walking forward, or at least holding your ground, right? You can go laterally, you can strafe side to side, but like you pretty much always, at least to some degree, want to be like moving forward. And then when you're done, then you walk back, right? Or if you're worried you're gonna die, then you wraith and you walk away, right? There's not a lot of walking back on Reaper.
Repositioning.
So one thing to know about teleport, by the way, is teleport is pretty bad in terms of like actual speed to get from one spot to another. So the biggest value of a teleport is getting from low ground to high ground, and also hiding when you're crossing. So for example, if you're attacking, if you teleport from here to inside that door, then someone who's not watching the inside of the door will have no idea that you crossed the gap, right? So that's one of the big strengths of teleport. It's like you can teleport from outside the gate to inside the point, and they might not even know, right? The second value of teleport is getting to high ground. So like if you want to get like sneak up behind them, right? As earlier, instead of teleporting back into your team, you just walk around the corner, and then you teleport up to the high ground, right? So you teleport up here, and then you just hide out up here, and then you might even they were off the Doom, but the Doom was rolling out on this this side every time, so you can just wait for the Doom here, and as he comes around the corner, you just like 2-shot him, right? You can do that as Reaper, but generally speaking, you want to engage from high ground. It makes life like a lot easier. Like they all walk out in front from underneath you, in front of you, and then you just hang out over here, and then as they go in, you drop down and you kill a support, right? And then if you get in trouble, you wraith out and you rejoin your team. It's really simple. It's really effective. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You're just having a hard time like finding any value, because if you look at your ult, you're at 37%, which is like the lowest on your team. Like, I mean, this Ashe isn't doing a lot better, but like that's not a good thing. You want to be like you want to be at least holding on par with like, I don't know, Zana has not got the most ult either, but like, you know, it's a minute and a half into the round, you could have like 70% ult right now, at least. Like 70% is like a conservative amount you should have right now.
My ultimate is almost ready. This is
Again, you're really far back. You're not set up in a position to engage, like a high ground spot, or like especially behind them somewhere. You're just like not in position to like set yourself up for success. You walk forward now. This is fine. Playing behind your Ryan, this is also fine. So be careful about walking into people when like if that means like walking through a choke, right? So earlier I kept telling you to walk at them because they're coming through a choke, right? So that's really, you need to exert pressure on the choke. But here your team, you're kind of baiting your team into extending a little bit. When in reality, if you just shoot the Rhine from here, you can do it safely without getting shot by the soldier, and you can shoot the Rhine shield, and you're not going to miss the Rhine shield, right? And you're at a range where your fall off isn't like really kicked in yet. So you want to do it more safely from like right here, and if the Rhine like walks into you, then you walk into him and kill him, right? Alright, now there's a grab, so now you should just like forehead in, right? Just walk in and go shooting, right? Alright, there's a wall, it's fine. Okay, so you can shoot through the wall. It takes like 3 Reaper shots to kill a wall by himself, so if there's any other shots going in, it takes like maybe 1, maybe 2, right? But this is not the guy to shoot. I know like there's like a little gap here, but this guy is very far away. And it's a Moira who regens like 50 health per second or something insane while she has the coalescence. I think it's 30 actually. Yeah, I think it's 30. But she regens a lot of HP per second during the thing, and you don't do 30 DPS while you're from this range. So you just kind of like don't want to take the damage. You want to step outside the beam range. You want to step outside like this beam angle, right? And then like shoot the wall, and then try to see if you can follow up on the grab. If you can't, that's fine. You just back up, right? Ooh, okay. So you got around the corner, right? So either you walk out, you take a lot of shots, and you try and shoot this Rhine more, and then you wraith out, or you LOS it like you did, and then you just sit there and you don't use Wraith, right? That's really important. You don't use Wraith because Wraith is how you get aggressive. You can't get aggressive without an escape. So escape-wise, this spot was just fine, right? Once you're over here, now you're really far and you're kind of removed from the fight. So you only want to go here if your entire team is backing up over here, right? So for example, just say you're hanging out here and you're fighting, but they're popping a lot of ults and your whole team gets forced back to here. Then you Wraith and rejoin your team, right? That's when you consider that. Shoot, I keep doing the wrong person. I wish you would do this so much earlier. This would be so good if you did this earlier. Just like more teleporting to high ground to get around things, right? You only did this because it was a wall, right? You can do this when there's not a wall. You can also shoot your way through the wall, by the way. Which arguably probably would have been better because your Ana's cut off, and your Ana has a really hard time getting through the wall. Oh, this is why your Ashe is so useless. That's a little ult. But yeah, yeah. Don't be afraid to just like shoot your way through the wall. 3 shots, the wall comes down. I think it's like 3 shots plus melee for like just like pure like DPS your way through a wall column. But like 3 shots in general, like generally speaking, somebody will shoot the wall for 10 damage, so that gets you through. And yeah, but yeah. So objectively here, you probably should have shot your way through the wall. But I don't mind this teleport in general. This teleport, just teleporting over here is just really good. Just wait. Okay, so this is where you need to have patience, right? So you need to read their body language. Does this guy see you coming when you start dropping down on him? The answer is absolutely not. He had no idea, right? So if you look at his POV, he doesn't start looking at you until he starts shooting him, right? Far back. So here's the wall. That's when he looks at you, right? He had no idea you were there until he started shooting at him. So you really want to wait until you're close enough where you can just blow him up, right? Oh my god, you did 140 damage anyways. But you really want to wait until, like, again, like, if you're dropping and he's not looking at you, you can get as close as you want, right? So if you look, so you finish teleport, he's not looking at you, right? You drop, angle yourself like more to the right where he's not, where like you're to stay out of his FOV, right? And just like walk into him. You can get to the here before you really have to start aiming, right? Or before you really think, before you might even notice sometimes, right? So just like get as close as you can, then start shooting, and you're way more likely to kill people because you can almost guarantee 2 to 3 shot almost anybody in the game, right? That's not like a tank, and you can like 3 to 4 shot tanks at this range as well. So like you just get as close as you can before they can see you, right? And don't let them know you're there until you're like right on top of them and ready to kill them, right? Because you start shooting from too far away, they can just get away. Right? See that those first 2 shots were essentially just warning shots, right? Your 3rd shot was what really did the damage. But this is what buys him time right now, and right, and then you get forced away. Oh, that's a vicious TP. And this is why not why anything, but Yeah, that's when you run away, you don't want to run away just to the open. You want to like hide in the corner, because the only protection at this point is your raw damage, right? So it's literally like make them like have to really like turn the corner, expose their back to your team, and like hit you in order to like like while you're shooting back at them in order to kill you, right? If you run away, you're just gonna die because you don't have like once you're out of Wraith, unless you immediately TP, right? If you immediately TP'd, you might have been able to live. And that was probably the play, but I wouldn't mind if you just stood your ground and died as well. So if you like got to this point, okay, our particle effects go away. All right, yeah, if you got to this point and you immediately just TP'd up to like the Pagoda or something, just immediately ran for it, I wouldn't have minded. You could also TP across to somewhere like your range will probably put you around here, and then like they probably won't see you in time. If they see you, they'll turn around. They might shoot you a little bit. You'll grab the mini. You can start getting to the high ground. And you can maybe reconnect it with your team as you come out on this fort. But yeah, so if you're going to TP, you have to do it immediately because TP is not an escape button, right? It's a mobility tool. And then second is if you're not going to immediately TP, you need to hold tight to the corner. I don't care that's a nano Zarya. You just kind of stick it out, right? But yeah, definitely TP faster if you're going to TP. Otherwise, just like stand and fight, right? TP was on cooldown. My bad. Ignore everything I just said. In that case, don't take their attention, right? So if you're waiting for TP, or you're just not sure whether or not you'll be able to TP when you get to this point, right? So first thing, duck into this corner and hide here, right? And wait to see if anyone comes to shoot you, right? If they don't come to shoot you, let them walk into the choke, and as they walk in, then you turn the corner as their backline's coming in, right? Because if you look at when their backline comes in, they're right behind. They feel strong, right? So if you're waiting here, and you turn the corner, rise their backline, you can potentially like two-shot somebody, right? So if you want to get aggressive, that's how you do it, right? You just hide, wait, then come out. Otherwise, hide, wait for your TP, and then get out, right? But that's kind of how you want to think. Yeah, TP is not an escape, right? TP is mobility. So when you're in trouble, TP probably won't save you. You need to TP in advance if you think you're going to be in trouble.
This is my curse.
Alright, I'll do one more fight.
My ultimate is charging.
Objective lost.
Yeah, so if you look, like, your entire team has gotten ult, and you're about to get lapped, right? This Zarya, I'm pretty sure this Ryan's on his second ult. I'm pretty sure this, or on his third ult now. I'm pretty sure this Zarya is about to get her second ult. This Moira is on her third ult, is charging her third ult now. Like, you're just really, really far behind because, like, you're just having a hard time, like, accomplishing anything, right? So you're just not building ult very fast. That's kind of problematic. I kind of want to see you use ult, though, so I'm going to actually stick with it. So, if they're walling here, that means one of two things, right? Either they're grouping up behind the wall and they're going to push you, right? Or they're using the wall to shield the rotation, right? Using the wall as like to pretend like so usually when people put the wall up and pretend and like actually want to push you, it's usually to pretend that they're rotating, and then they push you. This is more of an organized thing, so you won't see this very much in quick play or ranked or just like any like pug experience. So generally speaking, if they put the wall up, they're rotating, right? So you can do one of two things. One, you can walk up to the wall, and as when the wall drops, you hit them on the side, right? Or you can just TP up and help your like team frontline wise, right? Like, you TP up, you help your team, let them fight on this door because this door is really strong. So you pick one or two. It doesn't really matter. Both are good generally. There are certain situations where one is better than the other, but like again, the distinction's not very important, right? Just do one with the other. They're both good. But do you see it? Okay, do you see that the wall comes down? You're all the way over here. They start rotating in front of you, right? Imagine if the wall came down and you were right here as this Ana and the Zarya like started coming through. So if we look at this, like this is when the wall comes down. Imagine if you were right here when the wall came down and this Ana tried to come in, right? You would practically two-shot her. Does she even have cooldowns? She only has a nade, right? Like you can potentially just blow her up, right, before she gets any help, and then when you blow her up, you can turn around and then just kill the Zarya because the Zarya might not even have bubbles. Let's see. She has self bubble. Okay, so maybe you don't kill the Zarya, but in like either case, like you force a lot of attention, you force cooldowns, right? Like at minimum, even if they both live, this will force a self bubble, and this will force the nade, and potentially even the sleep, right? So this will force all of Ana's cooldowns, all of Zarya's remaining cooldowns, and you get off scot-free, right? You'll get some good shots in, and then you just wraith and run away, right? And you just grab this mini underneath and you just wait for them to start dropping. Right, there's a lot of things you can do. But like this is like this is what playing close lets you do, because again, you need to play your effective range. If the soldier's ulting directly beneath you, you might just want to drop and try and kill him. I don't think you knew where the ult was, but it was beneath you. Yeah, so this is when the soldier ulted. Like, you're not really missing much health. If you just dropped on top of him, you could probably just kill him, right? He's a soldier with aimbot, but you're a Reaper at point blank range. You just out DPS him mathematically. Lost my train of thought. All right. Like, if you're in a situation where they can shoot you from this side, and they can shoot you from this side, and you feel like you're pinned down because of an ult, like, you probably already lost. So you kind of had to take a risk to alleviate the situation. Oh, this guy dropped. Interesting. But yeah, you kind of had to take a risk to alleviate the situation, and that's probably just dropping the soldier to try and kill him. Alright, do you get an ult this round? Because it's not looking like it at the moment.
I will get my revenge.
You're just like walking away from people, right? Like you like kind of walked in, you walked it's like laterally against the grab, and then you saw a Mei, and you started running away from the Mei. Like you haven't been closer than like 10 feet to somebody yet.
You're powered up.
You have
Get in
nano.
there.
Like again, like look at where you cancel your wraith, right? You wraith for the reload and for the gap close here, which is fine. You have a nano, you're strong. Alright, we'll go back. So you're unnecessarily scared. You get nanoed, right? Again, look where you stop your wraith. You stop your wraith right here. Like, look how far away you are from this guy, right? Imagine if you stopped the wraith right here. You'd probably two-shot this guy. You do so much damage, right? You just gotta get closer. Alright, well, can't talk about that all too much. You're kind of in a bad situation. But yeah, you're in this bad situation because you don't walk at people. Alright, so most important things. I'd take a second look at your sensitivity. Your mouse. I don't know what your setup is like, so I don't know how much like desk space you have, how big your mouse pad is. I would recommend like getting like some kind of setup that would like, I don't know. You gotta lower your sensitivity though; it's too high. Either way. And then second thing is actually you should tell me what your sensitivity is. Just like give me your DPI and sense, in-game sense. If you're not sure what your DPI is, just Google your mouse model. And if it's like not a mouse, and if you can't find it online because like the mouse model is like, I don't know, really cheap or something, you should probably invest in like a better mouse. Like you don't need to get like a really good mouse or a fancy mouse. You just need like a mouse that like is of high enough quality that there will be oh my god. Alright. You need to get a mouse that will like at least be good enough that you can find the DPI statistic somewhere. Because if like you literally can't find it online, chances are it's a really bad mouse. But yeah, so tell me what your eDPI is, your send/DPI. I can figure out the eDPI for myself. Tell me what it is. We can talk about if it's too high or too low. If you have a mouse pad, tell me how big it is. If you like, and tell me if like the desk is a limiting factor or not. So most important. So first thing, figure out like things to aim better. And second is really on Reaper, really focus on getting closer. You spend a lot of time just like not walking at people, and that's kind of the whole point of Reaper. Reaper's just WM1 the hero, right? Like it's a really simple game plan, but it's literally teleport behind them, WM1, and then wraith away, and then do it again. It's I hate to like say that Reaper is that simple because like I mean obviously Overwatch has a lot of complexity. There's a lot of micro things you can do, but in reality Reaper is kind of just that simple, right? You just gotta walk at people. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and that'll be it.